When it's time to fight, will you stand united? It's time to start a fight. Paragon, play for free now.
So we're here playing Dragon Quest VII. I'm Justin Haywold, and I'm with Rob Waters. What's your role on the team?
Product marketing coordinator.
And today we're going to be playing some Dragon Quest VII. Now, Dragon Quest VII is an infamous entry in the Dragon Quest series. We've gotten a lot of the Dragon Quest games here in the West, but and Dragon Quest VII did come out here, but it was a long time ago on the original PlayStation, and it was a notoriously long game. This looks a lot different than the Dragon Quest VII I played back in the day.
Definitely, yeah. So the graphics and the localization has been completely remastered. And it's funny that you talk about the length of the game. Interestingly enough, even the beginning of the game, they've streamlined quite a bit. I know there was a whole lot of quests and stuff that you had to do, even to get to the first battle in the original. And they've made it so these are optional for the most part. So the one that comes to mind is you have to go to the pub and find your uncle and go get a sizzling stone. And in the original, you didn't really know how to get there. But in this one, you can actually completely skip that, and it just happens for you. So they've done a lot to make it so you can get to the first battle, get into the action very, very quickly.
And obviously, graphically, it's a much nicer looking game than it was back in the day.
But the slogfest that was the original a little bit has been changed. Even with classes, for example, right now we're changing Sir Mervin's class, and I can actually show off a few of them here. As you can see on the bottom screen, the graphics have changed, as well as with his look. Each class has its own unique look to it, costume look, except for these ones for some reason. So these are the monster classes. I'm actually going to keep them as Berserker, but I wanted to show off these looks really quickly. And talk about how you rank up your classes. So you rank up your classes by hitting certain milestones with battles. For example, if you complete 5 battles, you hit rank 1. 10 battles, you hit rank 2, and they've actually lessened that to rebalance it a little bit more. The monster class I talked about is actually the Berserker. As you can see in the back there, Sir Mervin is now a Berserker. So while in battles and on the world map, he actually looks like that monster that I had him. Vocation, I'm sorry, I keep saying class. Vocation that I had him become. So we're actually going to hop on over to a place called the Haven. This was originally the immigrant town in the original Dragon Quest VII. It's been renamed the Haven. Like I said, it's been completely relocalized. And instead of getting immigrants, you're actually getting reformed monsters. These are monsters that didn't want to be evil and reformed their ways and decided to go out into the world as people, changing their look. So these monsters here are friendly. And when you first get here, it's completely empty. You have Carrie, the young girl here, and this stone pillar, and that's it. There's no town, nothing. And as you continue to get more reformed monsters, the town will continue to expand. And once you hit a certain milestone, you can actually get this location, the download bar. If you talk to the bartender, you're actually able to, once the game releases, you're actually able to get download distributions, things known as Traveler's Tablets. And we'll go into more details on Traveler's Tablets later, but there are over 50 of these, and these are actually dungeons that you're able to go and explore that give you special items as well as...
like Dragon Quest IX.
Pretty much, yeah. Except for, we don't have the details quite yet on the online distribution ones. Now, you do earn Traveler's Tablets from the Reformed Monsters as well, and those are not randomly generated like Dragon Quest IX, but there are ones that are randomly generated. And so we're actually going to let you see one of those. So we're actually going to skip over the plinth that's right there and go on to Monster Meadows, originally known as the Monster Park. In the original Dragon Quest VII, all you did was you tamed monsters and you had them come to the Monster Park. Once you got all 200 some odd monsters, you got a reward and you were done. This one, there's a lot more functionality to it. We're going to go over the old functionality, which is going to the habitats and talking to the monsters really quickly. A lot of monsters have fun little quirks with their speech and whatnot, just like the people. They've definitely been definitely been relocalized to more of modern Dragon Quest standards from what we've seen in more modern entries. So there's a bunch of different habitats, and each and every monster, almost every monster that you get, you can go in up and talk to once you get their habitat and recruit or tame them. Let's go back to the entrance. So there's also the barns on the side that you can go into and say, hey, I want this family of monster to come here so you can talk with them and hang out. But that's pretty much it. You can talk to the monsters and whatnot in those 2 areas. But what's new to Monster Meadows is you can actually come on over to this old man, talk with him, and go to find Traveler's Tablets. And what you're going to be able to do is choose 3 monsters to go in and find a Traveler's Tablet for you, which we have a huge selection. We actually want you to choose the 3.
Well, Metal Slime Knight, definitely. Timothy, he's
Okay.
always super helpful. Because he rides his slime.
Yeah.
A heal slime. Feels like
Okay.
those are always really helpful as well. You know, when you're feeling
Yep.
down. A Toxic Zombie.
Toxic Zombie. Petri dish, almost. All right, and...
Do you get to name them as well? Or
You
are
do
they-
not get to name them, unfortunately. But you get to tell them, hey, go in this cave and grab me my Traveler's Tablet. Now, they're going to retrieve a Traveler's Tablet for me. These Traveler's Tablets are going to have a random name as well as a random layout. So this is where the randomly generated dungeons come in. So we got a Traveler's Tablet called the Usual Raging Cave.
It's better than the unusual Raging Cave. You want
true.
You want to keep that usual.
Yeah.
Because it's
Something.
raging.
It is raging. So I've seen a lot of dungeons in this game. I've explored quite a few Traveler's Tablets, but I've never seen this one before because it's random.
How much time have you put into the game so far?
I've put in over 80 hours over the course of multiple playthroughs.
Does that include all of the demos that you give?
No, I'm not actually including the demo, so that'd probably be over 100
that
hours.
Easily, yeah.
Yeah. So let's place the Traveler's Tablet really quick. This is another one that we've seen before, maybe Treehouse Live, but we're gonna hop into the Usual Raging Cave. So I do have to warn you, Metal Slime Knights are incredibly hard bosses. So I may have some trouble at the boss, but that's all right. So right here, there's an area called the Rainbow Mines, and it's one of the first areas that you encounter within the game, and it's actually pulling that layout for the intro of this dungeon, and it will continue to do that as well. You'll always go to memorable parts throughout the game within these dungeons, but you'll also have like just randomly laid out like hallways and stuff like that you may never see during the course of the main game. So we're going to encounter enemies in traditional fashion. Actually, we have all 3 monsters here, which is really interesting. So the monsters that you put into the cave actually determine what monsters you encounter. So that's why we're encountering a Toxic Zombie, a Heal Slime, and a Metal Slime Knight. But there is a chance that other monsters will spawn within these dungeons.
So is there a reason that you would want to choose one monster to appear over another? Because does it make it easier? Does it change the items?
So it changes what you can get because each monster has their own items they can drop and whatnot. But in addition to that, you also have something called a monster stamp book. And what you're trying to do is you're wanting to collect all 417 stamps, all 417 monsters.
It's like
and
Pokemon.
it is. I need so many more Magikarps. Anyways. And what you do is every 6th monster you're able to turn in for a tableau ticket. So you get 6 stamps, you get tableau ticket, tombola ticket. I'm getting my naming incorrect. Tombola ticket, and you're able to receive special items from vendor pretty much. It's more of a gambling game. Monsters, as I said, affect the layout, but the leader monster also affects the boss that you encounter.
So the first one we chose being the Slime Knight.
Metal Slime.
The Metal Slime, he's going to be the boss in this.
Yes. So let's rush on through. I'm going to skip some of these treasure. Ooh, there's one. So this is a monster that you didn't actually throw on in. So we're going to fight a Clawbreaker. I actually don't know if I've ever fought one of these. We'll find out. Well, he was easy. So I actually have my party members set on Tactics right now. Once we get to the boss, I'm going to switch them off. But Tactics make it so battles can go by a lot quicker because they're AI controlled. And there's multiple different AIs I can put on them. Oh, nope. and say, hey, I want you to go all out, I want you to not use magic, I want you to do this, I want you to do that.
Yeah, this seems like a pretty powered up team that you already have in the.
Oh, definitely. So we wanted to make it easier just in case you wanted to play. The dungeon can be completed, but there are some times where you'll go on through even powered up and you'll be like, well, I'm having trouble here just mainly because of the boss. Or actually, it also depends on what monsters you put on in. There are some very, very powerful monsters that you can put on in and be like, well, I don't know if I'm going to make it through this. So I took off my tactics so I can actually choose what I'm going to do. Let's see if I can beat this Metal Slime Knight. This is going to be a little crazy. Okay. So all the classic Dragon Quest spells are here, heal, same with the abilities. All of these are unique to, okay, I can come off. Unique to different starting classes, and once you fully rank up once you start ranking up a starting class and getting spells and abilities, those are permanent to your character. So martial artist, shepherd, sailor, all of those are actually permanent on your characters. Now, later classes such as gladiator, sage, and all of those, they are not permanent. So they do not stay on forever. Only while those classes are equipped. That's more of a balance, is what it feels like, because before in the original you would be incredibly powerful, like when you go up against the last boss. So they it seems like they made it so you're not quite up there. You really have to think about your strategies a little bit more. Oh, I hit him with the crit. Dang. Okay, no more muscle dance for her.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I played the original, but it feels like the abilities, like the overall flow of battle is similar.
Oh yeah, the flow of battle really doesn't change between Dragon Quest games, and that's something that's great about the series. You know what you're going to do when you're in battle. Of course, more options appear here and there throughout the series, but the flow is never modified. You always know, okay, I'm going to have spells, I'm going to have abilities, I'm going to go on through, I'm going to be able to attack my enemies in turn-based combat. There are other RPGs that decide to change the formula here and there, but this is one of the series that really stays with what it knows, and it's great because of that. The player's never going to be surprised because now it's active battle or anything like that. And one great thing about this game, which actually it took me a while to catch on to for myself, is actually the story. So the story starts out with you, Fisherman's son Oster, the main character, one first of my party, just doing some childlike mischief and going into a place called the Shrine of Mysteries. And eventually, with your friend, you find out that this leads to portals to the past because of these tablet fragments that you find. And these tablet fragments are scattered all throughout the world. And what happens is you get your first set and you start saving islands, and the world continues to expand away from your one island that you had. And it didn't really catch on for me right away, because I'm just like, okay, well, what am I doing? I'm saving all these islands. It's cool because all these islands have these little bit of story with them, but what's really catching me? And then eventually you come across an old man in a bar, and he tells you about this battle that the Demon King and the Almighty had, and he's a little drunk. So it's like, all right, well, maybe this guy's, it's in game. Maybe he's a little drunk. Maybe he's having some fun. And eventually, you start hearing the Demon King more and more and more. And that's actually what you saw at San Diego Comic-Con. Is we showed off a little bit more of the Demon King, and the story starts taking off from there, and you start seeing all these evil forces that were in the past, and I started hearing about them more and more and more in the present. So it definitely has a full-fledged out story that really hits home for like what Dragon Quest usually is, which is a bunch of little stories that lead up to a giant conclusion. Usually on, a world-saving level. All right, hopefully. Let's see. I do love how he hits me with the slime, but
Seem to be holding up okay.
I'm holding up all right. Steak.
You know, because it's been such a long time since we played Dragon Quest VII, and there have been a lot of games in the interim, have you noticed anything that's been added to the experience that maybe players who were introduced since maybe 9 or one of the newer entries might see as an Easter egg or anything like that?
Not necessarily. It's stayed very true to its roots. Aside from what we're seeing here with the Traveler's Tablets, there hasn't been much really added to the game that you've seen in other games. So, which I think is interesting. They've really, with the relocalization, it feels like it's a whole new Dragon Quest game, actually, especially with the new graphics and lack of random encounters. One of the things for me with the original is it was a little tough for me to keep going at the time, but with this one, I feel like I'm just like, oh my god, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? What's on the next island? What can I do next? And it's a lot of fun. Just because there's so much spice to it.
And one of the 3DS's big strengths is that it's a portable system for really long RPGs, for really long experiences where you can kind of play at your leisure, and you can stop whenever you need to. You don't have to worry about
Definitely
sitting in front of your TV for 100 hours.
And there's definitely quick save, so you can save anywhere, just like other Dragon Quest games that we've had in the past on the 3DS or on the DS. Gotta see if I can keep Oscar alive. You chose one of the most difficult bosses, by the way.
Well, this is near the end of your demo day, so I figured you'd be prepared. You're ready for this.
You're right, you're right.
I believe in you. What do you think your chances are right now?
They're a little slim, we'll see. Oster got him with the crit earlier. See, I had this problem earlier too. I played on through, decided to put Timothy in the leader slot, and got my butt kicked. So.
So what have been the classes that have stood out for you so far? What are some of your favorite classes?
Monster Masher is one of my favorites, and the reason is because it actually increases the chance of taming a monster while in battle. Aside from that, Sage is great just because it's so versatile with all the spells and stuff. Actually, Aishi is a Sage right now. I'm trying to get her back to life, and I can show off a couple of the spells. Oops, wrong one. Unfortunately, Metal Slime Knights are not damaged too well by spells. It's because they're metal, but we can show off some of the cool animations. Alright. I don't think I can whack him. Maybe.
Is this one of the hardest bosses that you've unlocked so far?
This is, yes. The Metal Slime Knight is probably one of the hardest bosses I've unlocked so far. Just because he has such high defense and he's not taking much damage. I actually can't lower his defense through sap, so it's a little troublesome right now. I think I'm just going to keep hitting him with Crackle. Crackle. Okay. Maybe he's close. I don't know how much HP he has either. I just thought about that. Uh-oh.
Yeah, like only 2,000 more to go. This is...
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, hitting him 20 hit points a pop. We'll be done in like 2 hours. All right. Let's give it one more shot, and then we can get into the reason why you want to have these Traveler's Tablets and actually complete them. This guy. Okay. So the reason you're actually wanting to go through Traveler's Tablets and complete them is similar to what you saw with Dragon Quest IX. Traveler's Tablets, after they're completed, can actually be used via Street Pass in exchange with other players. So let's say we hypothetically completed this Traveler's Tablet and defeated Timothy, or the Metal Slime Knight. When I exchange it with other players, we're actually going to level up Timothy as a monster. This is very unique to this game. Of course, Street Pass wasn't in the original, so you couldn't do it there, but
I mean, you didn't walk around a lot with your PlayStation back in the day.
You never know. Some people did. Oh, there we go. Woo!
I see you did.
All right. I lost to this guy earlier.
To wipe off the sweat.
I got an Iron Mask, which is great. This is actually equipment. Depending on the difficulty of the boss, the difficulty of the boss determines what you're going to get as a reward. Okay, let's see if I can zing my people back to life. Hey, there we go. So I'll spend gold. Sir Mervyn.
He's kind of old, though.
He is sort of old. Okay. So what I can do with this Traveler's Tablet now is I can, like I said, I can exchange it via Street Pass and exchange it with other players. So I received theirs, they received mine, just like Dragon Quest IX. And then Timothy will level up. As he continues to level up, he will become more powerful. And so if I put him into the cave to get more dungeons, I'm going to get a much stronger Metal Slime Knight. So just think about that before you use a Metal Slime Knight as the boss. And that actually concludes our demo for this portion.
Cool.
So,
well, thanks so much for walking us through that. And
no problem.
It's a cool element that adds a kind of multiplayer functionality, asynchronous multiplayer
Oh yeah,
in a way.
definitely. Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. It increases the replayability a ton, and it can be quite challenged. I'm waiting to see what people actually have for their Traveler's Tablets when the game comes out. So.
And when is the game launching?
September 16th this year.
Right around the corner.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much.
No problem. Thank you.